It's very rare that you get a truly hollow victory or a negative victory, if there is such a thing, but that is something that very much happened on Saturday evening when England took on Andorra in Barcelona. This was an absolutely turgid game from every single report I have seen. I listened to most of it on the radio while I was travelling around. I went to one of my son's friends' birthday parties today, and you know what? I'm very glad for it, because having to sit through that for nearly 2 hours would have been absolutely horrible. I've watched the highlights since then, and just like I was, suspecting from what I heard on the radio commentary, it was absolutely awful. This was a terrible game. England won 1-0. They are perfect so far in their World Cup qualifying group, but Andorra, with the greatest of respect to Andorra, you can fit the entire population of Andorra in Wembley Stadium in London and have 20,000 seats left over. You can fit the entire population of Andorra in Old Trafford and have 5,000 seats left over. It's a tiny country, it's a micro-state, and we don't even have the excuse of playing on a small pitch or a pitch that is in less than good conditions. This was played on a full-size pitch at where Espanyol play in La Liga normally. This was a decently sized stadium. But yeah, I mean, the people that were in there, and there weren't that many people, and the vast majority of people were English or locals in there. They were not happy with what they saw, and I don't blame them. This was terrible. This was genuinely terrible. I'm all up for treating these games against these tiny teams in World Cup qualifiers almost as friendlies to experiment with Thomas Tuchel's side. And, he experimented with this, but it didn't work out. And I don't want to see a repeat of it. I got a bit of a sinking feeling as soon as I saw the lineup flash up on my phone. Jordan Henderson getting his first start for England in 3-4 years. He should be nowhere near this England side. He is useless. And he's a terrible human being on top of that as well for what he's done in recent times in terms of his choice of clubs. So, putting that to one side, he's terrible at football. He's a has-been. He's gone. He's not what he was. People are saying, he's going to go back and play for Sunderland this year in the Premier League. If he goes and plays in the Premier League, he's going to get eaten alive. He is not up to it at all. Reece James playing as left back. Curtis Jones playing as right back. Some really peculiar choices here. Get James at right back. Put someone like Skelly in, like I predicted, at left back. Those are the kind of players that should be playing in those kinds of positions. All right, up front, good choices in my opinion. Kane being up there, Madueke, Palmer, Rodgers. Rodgers was one of the few bright sparks in this side today. He was one of the few positives, I would say. He was really doing well today. But he's playing against Andorran players. He's playing against players that would, only with the quality of like League 1, League 2 opposition, if I'm being generous. I've never even heard of any of these dudes before. Like, who are these players? They are the players that managed to only lose 1-0 to England. That's who. This was absolutely awful. If this was an experiment by Tuchel, which I believe it was, it didn't work. This is not the way to go. This was not good. Things were just summed up really well by the chance we had literally in the last minute, where Andorra were pushing for an equaliser against England. Andorra, let me just put that in perspective, right? England were having to counter-attack against Andorra. England were defending against Andorra. They had chances, Andorra. They actually did break through the lines a few times. They just couldn't quite get a shot off. But they were like one player away from getting a decent effort on goal. Honestly, the more I think about this game, the more I get angry. I'm just trying to keep myself composed in this for you guys to kind of talk about it from as neutral a perspective as I can here. But I just can't do it. I can't not let emotion get into this, because this is England barely scraping through against a very bang average side. And I'm sure there's going to be some people saying that Tuchel needs to be sacked. He's not the right man. No, right? I'm not saying that for a second. But what I am saying, though, is that I don't want to see a lineup like this again. I don't want to see an attitude like this again. And honestly, like I said, the last chance that we had, the last opportunity in the last minute of the game, it was just being passed around in front of goal. The fact that we couldn't finish it between, Madueke and Harry Kane was just terrible. Kane got his goal. He always scores for England. But that was like the one bright, nice spot to all this. Their goalkeeper made some okay saves, but really we should have destroyed them in this one. What was the possession for England? It was like 80%, wasn't it? Yeah, 83% of the ball we had in this game. So what does that work out to in terms of time? That's got to be over 70 minutes of the 90-minute match that England had the ball, and we only scored once. Deary me. Deary me, not good enough. We're going to have to play better against Senegal on Monday if we're going to have any chance of, on Tuesday whenever the game is, we're going to have any chance of, getting a good result there, because they're a half-decent side. They've been African champions in the recent past, so they're not a bad team at all. But yeah, simply not good enough from England. I don't want to see us do a lineup like this again. And I'm expecting a lot of changes for the next game against Senegal. We're going to need to do a lot better, simple as that. And the last point as well, some people will be saying, with some justification, that, England have gone through a very tough time this game because they're tired. Their players have been playing non-stop throughout this season, and it was hot in Barcelona, similar conditions to what we can expect from the World Cup next year. But I would respond to that by saying, this is the perfect kind of preparation for that. Do you think they're not going to be tired after next season? After doing the Club World Cup as well, in the case of the likes of Palmer for Chelsea and some of the Man City players, are they not going to be tired from that? They've got that coming up this summer. Then they're into the Premier League again. Then they're going to be straight into the World Cup again pretty much again in summer 2026. Are they not going to be tired in 12 months' time? They are. So this is the perfect kind of warm-up game for that in a sense. And I think we failed. Yeah, we won. We didn't play as good as what we should do. So it's very worrying. It's very worrying. I'm glad this warning sign has come now rather than close to the tournament, but this is not positive at all. But guys, let us know what you thought about this in the comments below. I mean, I do not implore you even watch the highlights. Even the highlights were boring to watch. They put in like 9 minutes of highlights ITV, but 5 minutes is the game and 4 minutes is talking about it. The 4 minutes of interviews for Tuchel and Kane, it's probably more entertaining than the game itself, really. So that's all you need to know. Awful watch. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, guys. I don't mince my words when it comes to football, particularly the England national team. I don't give them any kind of breaks when they don't perform. When I call a spade, when they've not performed, I let you guys know about it. But yeah, your thoughts in the comments below as always, and we'll see you soon for much more content. Hopefully, a little less like this. Hopefully we play well against Senegal, but I'll bring you a preview for that on Monday, guys. So yeah, see you then.